Edgeworks Nebula.
Hey, Molly.
Hey, Max.
Ooh, you always say my name in such a cool way.
Ooh, I'll try.
I just say yours
every
the
time.
same every time. I say,
But I like
I
it.
say, hey, Molly.
Yours is like the pickup in music. It's like we need that pickup to then come into the hot jazz.
Ooh, I like
Right?
that. I'm a little jazzy pickup.
We're like a 3/4 time, and you're coming in on that 3.
Are you ready to guess today's topic?
I am ready.
Ooh, I love it. Okay, the first factoid for guessing today is that each of these can have up to 8,000 different components.
What?
Isn't that
Always
wild?
with the numbers, and you know it just goes right over my head.
I know. You ready for another number and another fact that's going to go right over your head?
Yeah.
Factoid number 2, the average height of these is about 295 feet tall, which is roughly the size of the Statue of Liberty.
What?
Can you see?
Oh, wow. First, I
Crazy,
was going
right?
to guess my grandma, but she is tall. She is.
She is freakishly tall.
She is. I brought her into my show and tell in the first grade. Honestly, Grandma
Did
Dorothy.
you really?
And they were like, "Wow, is your grandma a giant?" And I was like, "I think so. That's why she's here."
Your poor teachers were like, oh my gosh, Molly, what are you doing? Why did you do this to this
She's
poor
like
woman?
6'5". It's Dorothy. We called her
Of
Dot.
course it's Dorothy. That's so cute.
Dorothy. Okay, I'm thinking of a skyscraper.
I mean, that's wrong, but it's a good guess.
I love that you always give me like, oh, okay, well, no.
Yeah, but they are good guesses, though.
Yeah, okay.
I would tell you if it was a bad guess.
Okay.
These are good guesses.
So you're saying my grandma was a good guess.
That was a terrible guess.
Okay,
and
okay.
Shame
But a
on you for
wonderful
soiling
woman.
Dorothy's name. Okay, the third and the final. You are never going to guess these by the clues that I give. I'm so sorry. So the third and final clue for guessing today is that the first modern one was built in Vermont in 1941.
Now, they're very tall, these things. Oh, I know exactly what this is. I know exactly what this is.
exactly what this
It's one of those wind things. Yeah.
Molly, you got it right!
I told you.
It's wind. We're going to talk about wind energy. They're wind turbines.
It's the scientific melody. It's the scientific melody. Dee-dee-dee, scientific melody with Molly and Max.
Molly, you got it right!
I just want you to know that not only did I get it right, but then you, Max, stood up in your chair with excitement because you didn't think I was going to get it. And automatically, I thought you were going to do the Backstreet Boys dance because of the
Do the Backstreet Boys have a specific dance?
They have a dance in they're in wind turbines and they do a dance video.
Oh my gosh.
I think it's not in sync. I'm pretty sure it's Backstreet Boys.
I'm pretty
BSB.
sure it's an airport, and I think it is the Backstreet Boys.
I
But
think you're
either
right.
way you got there, I'm so proud of you.
There.
Molly, today we're talking about wind energy.
I love it because every time I drive home, I drive through a bunch of farms. I see these wind turbines. I know a little bit about them, but
Oh
boy,
my
won't I know more after this.
I hope.
I
Okay,
hope so.
Molly, did you know that wind can be used as an alternative energy source?
I did know that. Yes, I
You
did.
I know you knew that. But that means that wind can be used to create power as a source other than things like coal and oil and nuclear energy. You can
Things that
actually use
pollute.
wind. Yeah, and it's super clean. So wind can be used to produce electricity that can light streets and buildings and heat homes, and there's so many other uses you can use wind energy for.
So why don't we use wind energy for everything, Max?
Well, we are starting to use it for a lot more. Certain countries in the world are way better at this than the US is, but the US actually is starting to adopt more and more wind energy because it's super easy to do and it's renewable. You'll never run out of wind.
Yes.
So another name for the source of energy powered by wind is simply called wind power.
This
Makes
reminds
sense.
me of Captain Planet.
Your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Captain Planet, he's a
So wind power is captured by these big machines called wind turbines. Wind turbines,
turbine.
exactly. So wind turbines are super, super tall machines with these huge blades at the top that spin around in a circle just like a fan.
Do you want to know something interesting, Max?
I would love to know lots of interesting things.
Here's one for you.
Okay.
Oftentimes on a road trip home when I'm driving through, again, rural areas, I will see giant trucks with big truck beds, and those planes from the turbine are on. They're taking them from A
Those
to B,
blades,
and it's like
yeah.
wow, that's big.
So I know you mentioned seeing them like off the freeway.
Yes.
And you see tons and tons and tons of them. Do you know what those are actually called when you see like rows and rows and rows?
Lucky? I don't know.
Okay, that's fair. They're called wind farms.
Wind farms. That's cute.
But when you see those, they look like you're like, man, if I was up close, I bet those are really big. But when you see it from your car, you're like, those don't look that big.
Those are teensy
They're
tiny.
huge. Each
They're
of those
huge.
blades, the average length of a wind turbine blade is over 200 feet.
Say it one more time to me.
The average length of a wind turbine blade is over 200 feet. Wow. So those huge blades are connected at the top of the wind turbine, and they're connected to a vertical shaft called a rod.
Now.
It was all real.
Now, the things that move around in the circle,
blades.
those are the blades.
Those are the
and then
blades.
you've got the shaft and the rod are which parts now? Tell me one more time.
That's like the tower that they're connected to. So the blades are at the top, and when the wind blows, it makes those huge blades spin. Again, just like a fan.
Yeah.
Now, when those big blades spin, they turn the shaft inside. When the shaft turns, it provides power to another machine inside the wind turbine called a generator. You've probably heard of a generator before, Molly.
In general, yeah.
Generatorly, yeah.
In general, yeah.
Generatorly, I've heard of a generator. Yeah, I have. So generators produce electricity. So the generator inside the wind turbine collects that energy being produced by the wind turbine and holds on to it.
Hey, that's why it's called a generator, because it generates energy.
Ding, 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 ding! What does she win, Johnny?
Jinx, owe me a Coke. Or if it were the other way around, I would owe you a crush, an orange crush.
No, I'll take a Coke Zero, thanks.
A Coke Zero?
We can then use that electricity to power all sorts of things. I know I mentioned lighting streets and lighting your houses and heating your houses and all kinds of stuff. Pretty cool, right? Charging your cell phone that you listen to this podcast on.
Hopefully it stayed charged.
So I know I mentioned that the big groups of these wind turbines off the freeway that you'll see sometimes are called wind farms, but these farms can actually produce enough wind energy to power entire communities of houses and businesses.
My.
Crazy, right?
What did one wind turbine on the farm say to the other wind turbine on the farm?
What?
Look at you move.
Oh, because it's a farm.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Thank you.
So another cool thing is that you can actually get really, really small wind turbines, and you can just pop it in your backyard, and it will produce enough energy to very easily power your house.
I don't believe it.
It's the truth.
Wow. Why haven't I had one?
You
Are
ain't
these
gotta
expensive?
believe it for it to be true, Molly.
That's true, because I'll tell you what, socks do get holes in them. Now, why? If that's the case, why don't we all buy one? Are they very expensive? Are they? You have to have like a permit to have one?
But I would assume it's probably pretty expensive because it's still like a fairly new technology.
Yeah.
So I would imagine it's probably pretty expensive.
It's like
But
when
it's the same thing as
N64
putting
came
like
out.
solar panels on the top of your house. Like those will power your house as well and it's solar energy. So it's just using a different type of energy.
I know. You know what's so funny to me is like all of these. There are so many answers to our everyday problems, and I wish that we could just get there and put some solar panels on and get a wind generator.
So wind turbines used to actually be called windmills. I know
Yes.
you've heard of a windmill.
Yes.
So the Dutch used windmills to pump water out of low-lying areas, and the earliest known windmills were actually built over 1,000 years ago, and people used them to grind grains, pump water, things like that. So it was very, very early on that people realized, hey, this technology can be used to power things. It's just not until recently that it was kind of discovered that we can actually use it to generate electricity.
Wow. So you're telling me that windmills not only appear on my putt-putt course, but they also were the starters of wind energy.
Yeah. Exactly what I'm saying.
Wow.
That is quite literally what I said.
I just had to bring it to putt-putt for a second.
I love it.
Hole in one.
So a couple fun facts about wind turbines. The largest wind turbine in the world is in Hawaii. Okay, think about this. This is crazy. So one story is what, like 11, 10, 11, 12 feet tall, right?
Your guess is as good as mine, like one of my grandmas.
Okay, so one story is like one Dorothy.
Okay.
How many Dorothys do you think the largest wind turbine in the world is?
Something tells me 72.
That's a lot. That's way too many.
That's too many. We got to cut her
The
down.
largest wind turbine in the world is in the state of Hawaii, and it is over 20 stories tall.
Whoa, what?
It's a lot
that's
of Dorothys.
More than that's the same amount as my.
That's a lot of Dorothys.
I could count that on my fingers and my toes.
You couldn't because it's more than 20.
Oh, it's more than 12. Well, I might be able to.
And then some of the other things I already mentioned. The average height of a wind turbine is about 295 feet tall. The average blade can be over 200 feet long. Here's a fun one. Albert Betz, a German physicist, first discovered the theory that he called wind energy theory, and then he actually published this theory in his book called Wind Energy.
All bets are off. Oh, sorry.
All bets are off. That's so good. No, unfortunately, his book was actually just called Wind Energy, but he published this idea in 1919.
What? That's like when Grandma Dorothy was born.
I know. Dorothy, I think, is wind energy. And then after all that knowledge, guess what you just got?
Well, if I had to take a little stab at it, I would say I got a new wrinkle on my brain. Yeah.
There you go. Wind energy.
Wind makes electricity. Wind creates power from energy. Wind is renewable. Wind is pretty cool. Let's not just use coal and other things that pollute. Let's use wind and keep the earth looking cute. That sounds like a great plan to me. Let's help to keep the earth nice and green. 'Cause wind makes electricity. Wind creates power from energy. Wind is renewable. Wind is pretty cool. Turbines are super tall machines that capture the wind energy. Turbines are found in wind farms. Their blades are way, way bigger than both of your arms. The energy in the wind turns the turbine blades. The blades are connected to the shaft. The shaft spins the generator, which creates electricity. Heck yeah! Wind makes electricity. Wind creates power from energy. Wind is renewable. Wind is pretty cool. Wind makes electricity. Wind creates power from energy. Wind is renewable. Wind is pretty cool.
Edgeworks Nebula.